about?
We're a comedian.
Are we going to talk about the weather?
I think we should really talk about this.
We're talking about like
that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking the slap heard around, the second slap heard around the world. The first one was in the Seattle season of Real World when Irene got slapped by David.
Which season was that?
The Seattle season.
I really only remember like the first season.
Yeah, Irene was a young lady who was terrible to people in the house, and she had Lyme's disease, and her condition started worsening.
But by the way, say someone who was terrible to everybody in the house you just described basically every season of.
Yeah,
you know that, like,
but more so
every season.
Yeah.
She
again still every season.
She on her way out, she tried to impugn somebody's masculinity, which didn't sit well with him.
Again, it's pretty much every season of the Real World right there.
So anyway, I have an issue with all this back and forth about Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Yeah, there are several issues to discuss in different angles. Yeah, for sure.
And my angle is, I don't know what people are seeing, but I did see Jada Smith's face when that joke was told. I didn't see eyes rolling like, oh God, here we go again. No, I saw somebody who was like really concerned and she had this hurt feeling on her face. I mean, I watched the video over and over again.
Yeah, because people are like, look, Will was laughing, and then maybe he saw that she really wasn't, you know. Or maybe he was trying to laugh it off and then just like, you know what, this is gross.
And on Twitter, I'm getting all these videos of Ricky Gervais doing his thing and this other comedian doing their thing, and I'm like, yeah, but they're not talking about somebody's illness that is causing them physical changes,
right?
And it's an autoimmune issue, and it's like, you know. I mean, we know a comedian that embraces it, but again, this is not a male comedian. This is a female actress.
Well, and this is, you know, and as you mentioned before we went on the air, this is a Black woman, and hair is a sensitive subject, and Chris Rock was involved, right, in a documentary about this subject.
Black women's hair, yeah.
And people are like, oh, maybe he didn't know. He knew. He knew. He's friends with them. He's been told, and he went off script and he did it anyways. And he's like, it's a G.I. Jane joke. No, that movie came out 25 years ago. It's not even a good joke.
Yeah, it wasn't really a good joke, though.
Comedy punches up. It doesn't punch down. You don't punch people.
Taking Jada out of this, it wasn't really a good joke.
It wasn't a good joke.
Look, let me put my 2 cents in there because I thought about this too. Now, let's go with the Chris perspective. Was it a good joke? No. Was it the worst joke I've ever heard? No. Was not the worst joke I've ever heard in my entire life. Again, you've been inundated. I've also seen a lot of roasts, but they've been way worse with even illnesses, to be honest. But it wasn't a roast. It was the Oscars. Yeah, but they also they roast at you at the Oscars. They do it every year. Ricky Gervais is known for it. He's touched on some very touchy subjects with him. And still,
I haven't seen anything ableist.
Let me point out this too. He was laughing.
Yeah,
and
Will Smith
I think,
was laughing.
And again, I'm speculating the fact that I don't think he slapped him because of the joke. I don't think it had anything to do with Chris at all.
I think it had to do with.
I think it had to do with some more other issues going on.
Oh yeah, yeah. I wanted to talk about that too.
And he took it out on him.
Yeah.
Now you can be upset, Chris. That's fine. But when you go to violence, as a lot of people have pointed out, when you allow this to happen, then you're basically giving open field on anyone else. Like someone can just, like, we should not encourage it no matter what. You may not like the joke. You may think it was out of poor taste. That isn't a good subject. I mean, that is a good,
that's the conversation.
But you still don't get to get up on stage and slap someone.
I'm not defending that. Oh, no. I think, let's be clear. I think maybe you think I am defending that, and I am not defending violence.
Plus, and again, I'm looking into this part. I posted something about it, but I want to look into it even further. But there was a story of a reporter for Vogue who pointed out that these Oscar events, they do a rehearsal the day before. He was at the rehearsal.
This
And
wasn't
so was
in the
Will Smith.
It
rehearsal,
wasn't in the
though.
rehearsal.
No.
It's off
No,
script.
the Vogue guy said it was. He said that joke was in the.
Well, then he's saying something different than what everybody else is cooperating.
I'm hearing again. I'm still going to look into it, but the Vogue side said the joke was said the night before, and Will Smith did not get on stage. That was the weird part.
You know, some people are claiming it was all for ratings, anyways. But like, so my whole thing is, well, and Darren can explain this better, but since 2016, Chris Rock has been explicitly and peacefully told to quit going after the Smith family. And so that has an actual history there.
Yeah.
I am not condoning violence, but picking on somebody with a disability this way, a kid had killed themselves earlier this month because of bullying, just like that, over alopecia. Listen, like as somebody with disabilities, I'm going to tell you right now, those things get hurtful and painful. And then to have like Hollywood people up there being like, it's a joke, gaslighting, it's not that funny. After you've just insulted something that somebody has publicly spoken about multiple times on how painful this is for them to deal with, like that's different. And Chris Rock knows them. He knows them. He's known them for a long time, and he's been told not to go after them. I am not
to go after them, but I don't think Chris had it in his mind that he was attacking that in his mind.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. I am glad that it is being addressed, because for too long, things like this get like swept away and people are like, oh, it's a joke, and which is a classic tactic from lots of bullies and abusers in all sorts of different formats. And whether Will Smith reacted the night before or not doesn't change anything in relevance to this was highly inappropriate. It was bullying. It wasn't funny. And he'd already been told not to talk about them. This was off script. This was something he did.
It still is. I'm just saying, whether you agree with the joke or not, the fact is the reaction was in poor taste. Like,
I don't disagree with that. We're agreed on that.
The fact that I don't think it had anything to do with the joke at all, which is what I was trying to point out. I think other things were going on. He did laugh, and then he realized his wife was upset by it. And because of that, I think he took out how he was feeling out on somebody else.
Well,
I mean, like he sees his wife upset. He's laughing at something, sees that she's upset, and he was laughing at the thing that's making her upset. So
there's definitely shit going on. There's definitely a lot of things going on between them.
He did that, and then he reacted in a way, and then he dragged his feet to apologize, because even during his award thing, he apologized to the Academy. I'm like, no, you apologize to the person you just hit.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
I agree.
But and again, as someone else pointed out, if he didn't hit him, he would have been in so much right, because now people are talking about that. The problem is you hit somebody. That the subject matter of why you were upset gets, even his own Oscar win is off to the side, because now people are just going to talk about how you hit somebody, dude.
I do want to talk about.
And the fact is, and I just want to end on this one. You don't have a right to hit nobody, no matter what.
I don't think anybody in this room is disagreeing with that.
But I will give one caveat, and I would have respected. I still like Will Smith as an actor. I'm still going to see his movies. I'm a little upset at his whole male dominance of I need to go up there and hit somebody thing, when he could have literally been the bigger man and made even at least make a joke back. It's
just
Chris Rock.
Do something like
No. Even roast him back. You're telling me you can't roast Chris Rock back? Look at his career. It's not that hard to pick on Chris Rock. He could have literally. Here's what I'm suggesting.
I disagree with this.
Here's what I would have said. I would have literally told Chris Rock flat out, making fun of my wife, buddy. You do know I'm sitting in the front row. I'm up for an Oscar tonight. Call me next time when you're up for that. That crowd would have lost it. He would have been in the right. And I'm going to tell you right now, you hit Chris Rock, he can blow that off. But he's a comedian. You hurt him like that, that's going to sting more than that hit.
Right,
Because
but
he's
that's
going to
the
remember that
wrong
for the rest of the
message.
night.
That's also the wrong message.
How is that not the wrong message to
Hold
be a
on.
bigger man and not hit back, but him back on his own turf?
Okay, so the problem is the roasting. You are saying it's okay to roast somebody about their alopecia, which you did defend. Hold on. You did defend it. You said, well, it's a joke and blah, blah, blah. So hitting back somebody below the belt is not the way to deal with it. You don't hit them. You don't humiliate them in front of people like you just were humiliated, like his wife was humiliated. You don't do that. What he could have done, is say, hey, that's bullying. This isn't funny. This isn't a joke. Whatever it is. I don't know the correct response at the time, but to address the issue, not to cause another bullying tactic, because children are watching. Children are learning from this. They're learning from Chris Rock that this is a joke and it's okay. And Will Smith all by himself is the only person wrong here. But regardless, I do also want to point out that this is receiving so much more attention than when Conor McGregor and Machine Gun Kelly got into it, or when Kid Rock and Tommy Lee threw hands. Nobody talked about that. So I just want to say it's a little interesting that this is the one that is receiving the biggest attention, which is why it calls attention to, is this about ratings in some way?
Well, those other fights didn't happen during the Oscars, did they?
The VMAs and
the VMAs.
Well, but it's the same size audience. Watching the VMAs and
I have one more take on this.
Some weird stuff happens at all the VMAs. I remember even
on this.
Yeah.
Will Smith did release an apology directly to Chris.
It took him 2 days to do that.
But where is Chris Rock's apology to Jada?
Well, what's really interesting
Hi,
is
Katie.
Hi.
By the way, I love Will Smith's apology.
Yeah.
And kudos to his publicist that wrote it for him.
Yeah.
Right, which took a long time, and it didn't hurt.
I mean, he was clearly in a very heightened mental health state.
Come on. You know what he ended up doing at that? He went to all the after parties. He danced.
Yeah, he
partied his butt off. He had no problems with what he did. And I think he just got something back probably the next day, maybe after he's sober and everything like that. Putting all of those candidates up in front, the nominees up in front like that didn't help. Chris Rock, this is the second time he's mentioned. He did the same thing over 10 years ago about Jada Pinkett Smith. I don't know what Chris Rock has against her. And he should have kept his mouth shut.
Yeah.
I mean, he just should have kept his mouth shut. But she rolled her eyes. So to me, she rolled her eyes. Okay, we all know that he's stupid. All right. Chris Rock made a mistake. He's stupid. She ignored it. We need to ignore it. But no. He had to go up there. Will Smith had to go up there and smack.
It was definitely some toxic masculinity.
Yeah, exactly.
It was.
And there was no reason
but
why he had to do that.
And then
I do want to say, though, as brought up by somebody here also, that just because he laughed, people laugh for all sorts of reasons. A lot of times when somebody hurts my feelings at first when they say something, I'll laugh.
Yeah.
And then I'll just like, all right, I'm not, this isn't funny. And again, not defending Will Smith, just saying that we can't use that laugh or those knee-jerk reactions. Like, these people know they're on camera. They're trying to maintain some sort of facade. This is a performance for them as well.
So you do know that the cameras still roll after, because even though they're doing commercial breaks, cameras still roll. Right after when they went to commercial, Tyler Perry and Denzel Washington went up to Jada and just like comforted her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I heard from what is that ESPN broadcaster? He was saying that Denzel Washington and other people had to like calm Will Smith down, that he was like super in a heightened mental state, which is why by the time he got up later, he was crying. And then, and then maybe he blew off steam afterwards. I don't know. Clearly, to me, some mental health stuff's going on there.
Oh, yeah.
And they've been going through a lot of issues for the last couple of years. Yeah. And then I just
has not helped them.
No, it has not.
No,
Scientologists, because I heard some about that.
Isn't that new for them though?
It's kind of new.
Yeah,
Oh, goody. That's always worked out well.
Right.
They're married
Yeah.
Scientology,
together.
Trekkies with the text.
there's definitely, I mean, there's a lot of issues going on right there. And I hope that eventually that will get addressed because I just remember kids are watching, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and I point out the laughing not because I'm like he's okay with it. I point out the laughing because, as Katie pointed out, I saw that video. He's laughing. He's not paying attention to his wife. His wife rolling her eyes,
Yeah.
and that's when it went back to Chris. Because I'm thinking he laughed and then saw she was mad, going, "Uh-oh," and I think he went up there to save his own ass with his wife by saying, "Oh, well, I have to exert myself," which is why I say toxic masculinity.
Right.
He thought basically, I need to do this, you know.
Right. Yeah. No, there's issues there. And
The other thing.
Chris
too-
Rock is definitely the provocateur.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
But I have to say, the Academy Board, I'm so disgusted with them because Will Smith's speech, which was like blah, 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 blah,
Oh yeah.
was way too long. Here they have this amazing costumer
Uh-huh.
who they had to play the music for her. And I'm sorry, those costumes were amazing that she
Who
made.
won?
And then,
Well-
I brought it with
Well,
me.
he was-
I didn't actually watch it. So
Oh.
him
I
accepting,
don't even watch movies. So
him accepting his award, he was like throwing stuff against the wall to see like what would stick to like in the character and everything. Like I think he was literally trying to make up excuses.
I
on the
totally
spot.
agree.
Yeah.
And of course, the Williams sisters were sitting up there too.
Yeah.
So
Katie
yeah,
is the queen of the Oscars, if you didn't know. And
you've
uh,
been there.
and so usually she does a bingo, which I'm glad she didn't because he would have had Will
Oh.
Smith do it.
Yeah.
You know what?
Will Smith bingo.
I did do a bingo, but it was a horrible bingo. Not like in the past
Yes,
where
yeah.
this whole year was just crazy.
Yeah.
But the woman who won for best costume, she was just amazing. And then they had to cut her short.
Oh, geez.
That was the winner for Cruella. And
I knew it.
Yes,
I knew
and
it.
I was going to text.
And I love that movie. I see that
know
movie. I
it.
love that movie.
I
I
was
think
going to text you and James because
what's her name? Emma.
um,
No, was
James
it?
is the one that told me to watch it.
Stone.
So I
Yeah,
love
Emma
it.
Stone.
I knew
Is it
she
Emma
was gonna
Stone?
win.
That
What's
that
Oh.
that
No, that's
that
Emma Watson's.
trans-
Stone.
Um,
Emma Stone.
Oh,
right?
that
Yeah,
to
Stone.
me
Something
was the most, and he
Katie.
was so right.
who's in Cruella? That was Emma Stone, right?
Emma
Yes,
Stone.
Emma Stone.
It's
Yeah.
Emma, because I know it's Stone, but it's
Emma Stone.
Okay.
Yeah,
We got
She's a
it.
great actress.
and
We
then
did.
Emma Thompson
Yes.
was in it.
Oh, okay.
Emma
I loved her.
Watson is from the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
is her name Emma?
Emma
Yes.
Watson.
Oh, it's Emma Watson. They're all the Emmas.
Yeah, Emma.
Right.
That's
That's
very,
why I was confused. I'm
so
like,
British.
I know so many
British.
Emmas.
Are we doing this right? All right. Emma doesn't even sound like a real
But yeah,
man at this
Cruella was a
point.
great
My-
movie. If you
My
haven't seen it, go
grandmother's
see it.
my grandmother's name was Emma.
That's such a beautiful name.
Emma Riley.
Oh yeah. So basically, he just had a
That's
mental.
Irish.
Mhm.
Boy, is that Irish.
So
Sorry.
Will Smith basically just had mental breakdowns pretty much the
Yeah.
whole night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it honestly, like, it is a lot going on for, I really hope that he gets into some mental health counseling.
Yeah, because
And you know what's
that's
really-
the
and
whole
you'll
point I
find
was trying to
this-
make is that, like, again, I don't think it was that joke at all. I think something else that might have triggered it, but it was not that.
Well, he
It was
had-
something else.
It was from 1997. Apparently, Chris Rock made a joke about
An adultery
about-
thing.
yes.
Yeah.
And about how many she had been with because she was they were supposedly have an open marriage. And of course, they've never cheated on one another. But he made a remark about that. So I think he was just waiting this time. I do think he was waiting to see what Chris Rock, and Chris Rock fell right into it.
Well, and Chris
You know?
Rock also, like, what was the specific circumstances that since 2016 he's been warned to avoid going after them, even comedically, going after the Smith family. I saw something briefly about it, but like, I guess they have a bad history.
Yeah,
and he's not supposed to be.
Yeah, it's a running history of him saying disparaging jokes about the Smith family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, people are like, take a joke. Everybody takes a joke, but like, sometimes it's personal. And
When you
when it's a health
yeah,
can I
situation.
just say from personal experience and you know
We-
who I'm
we're,
about to
and
talk about.
we're a
Yeah.
room full of comedians
I
here
have
too.
I
so.
have I have somebody who I know somebody who thinks of himself as a professional roaster who would roast me Not on stage, out at parties, he talked about how bad of a comedian I was, my weight, all sorts of
That's
stuff.
not roasting.
I know.
No, it's yeah.
But Jeff knows who I'm talking
Oh
about.
yeah.
And that was
I had fun making fun of him at a certain party for remember.
yeah. We were at
I
a
was
party of a
so just
mutual friend of
underhanded
all
to
of
this dude
ours.
the whole night. I didn't care.
He's like,
He was interested in talking to me. I just kept blowing off like, yeah, can you get me a drink? I treated him like I basically treated him like he was the waiter all
he
night.
looked at Jeff like, what are you
This
asking
is
me to
the
get you a
street.
drink?
Yeah,
He's
give
like,
me a
"Yeah,
drink.
can
You're
you
standing up. Go get a drink. I'm talking to people. I was talking to
Somehow
Thomas,
I can see that
Mikey,
happening
and I
with
think
you.
we were playing a card game. Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, Cards Against
And
Humanity.
he was trying to talk to me. I'm like, that's nice. Can you get me a drink? Because he was standing there.
Might as well.
And that made me feel so
And I
good.
remember he was telling me something. I just ignored him because I was too
Because
busy playing the game. I was
to
like, that's
me-
cool. Go get me a drink.
To me, what he was doing.
Wait,
felt
do I
like
know this
both
person?
being-
I feel like I do.
We'll talk about him after.
An
off
older
air.
person. An older person. I don't know if you know any older comedians.
And I've met him before too.
Yeah.
He's one of those people that's
He's-
very condescending. Very
Yeah.
condescending. It's
I
like,
mean, I feel like there's like a few people in the comedy scene here in Chicago who fit this bill.
he's very bad at it though.
Yeah.
And he's not really not that funny, to be honest. I'm like, how are you a comedian?
And he got all these other comedians to do this roast. They have this roasting thing where you can hire somebody to roast people at get-togethers and stuff like that. And he had all these other comedians join in with him on that, which
No.
yeah.
Oh man.
So
I
it was
didn't know
like
about
If you
that.
got
go
squad
online
now-
and you hire somebody to do a roast at a senior hit citizens home or whatever.
You see, I keep thinking like because you're still kind of friends with him. Like if you ever get invited to something, bring the squad.
Bring
We'll roast him
squads
all
here,
night.
man.
yeah.
He'll walk in. He'll accidentally walk into his own roast.
I don't do it anymore,
Oh,
but I am mean. I can be so mean.
definitely felt
but
like,
funny.
It definitely did not feel like roasting. It felt more like bullying.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, no, like,
bullying.
I can roast, but like it's gonna hurt your feelings.
Yeah. 'Cause-
Yeah.
Well, Darren, you see what I do with Phil.
Yeah.
I love Phil to death. Love him to death. I will definitely pick on him though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I picked on Darren on stage too. Again, some small. Like I remember one
Well,
Christmas
like
time.
you have
had
a
a-
rapport.
Yeah, you had a Christmas hat on. You had like a
Yeah.
Christmas sweater on, but it was like looked like army green, and you had boots on. I went, you look like a militant elf. I didn't think that war on Christmas is a real thing,
See,
Darren.
that had nothing to do with any
Oh,
kind of
little jokes
bullying
like that.
or anything
No,
like that.
right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
different. You're not going after somebody's autoimmune disorder.
I don't think he was
I have-
doing that. Though.
I-
He went
I'm gonna
after her
talk about
hair.
this. I'm
I
gonna
don't
talk
think
about
he
this
made
right
that
now.
connection. I don't think Chris Rock is that
Is
smart.
that smart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, he did know. He
Do we
did.
know he knows?
Yes. I there's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind. It's not the first time he's brought it up. And she's not been quiet about it. And it's Hollywood and they all know each other. There's no
All
way
right,
you
all
can
right.
convince me. There's like 1% chance he didn't know.
Mm.
And G.I. Jane, that came out 25 years ago. It's not even funny.
Well, and now Demi Moore's getting a lot of hits.
Oh.
She's trending because of that, because she, she
She
shaved
was in
her
the
head.
original,
Yeah, she shaved her head for the.
And as I point out, it's a damn shame for Will Smith because now we're gonna know this. He won an Oscar that night.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
forget- nobody's talking about that.
No.
They're talking about
And he
him
was,
losing his stuff that right then and there.
Well,
yeah,
it's a
wasn't he
loss
the
for
fifth
him.
black man ever and the first one in like 10 years or more
I
since
don't.
Forrest Whitaker to win
Let me
that?
say, if
And I
Sidney
don't-
Poitier was still alive and he had seen that, he probably would have walked out because that is not what you do. That is not what he, whatever, as many discriminations
would
as
do.
he, well, true, but if he's looking for the black man for a mentor, that is,
It was
And
really
that's the
upsetting
worst
because
thing.
Will Smith has been such a role model.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
he's the rapper who didn't cuss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's the guy
well, he
who's
doesn't have to. He's got a big hand.
Yeah.
Does all the work for him.
But here's the other thing too, and this kind of got lost in the shuffle. The award for that was for documentary, and Questlove won for best documentary, and Questlove's a Philly person, so it's like and
He's
he
so
used
wonderful.
he used to actually come into the GNC that I was running in Philly.
Oh,
And-
wow.
and used to shop there. We had his autographed picture up behind the counter and everything. Yeah. So yeah,
I just hope
good guy.
I hope Will Smith gets some therapy.
Yeah.
I do too. I really
Anger
do.
management therapy.
It's helpful. I took it on purpose, voluntarily. Nobody told me to, and
Because
I think everybody should take it. I think we should start teaching. And it's really emotional management.
because we really need to, because there's a lot of people that are taking what he did as like a sign of like,
It's okay.
I can do this. And no, we need to stop that because
Yeah.
it's bad enough. I know a lot of comedians get threatened on the stage, and this is not.
Well,
gonna
there
help
was
in
that one
scenario.
time that Judy Tenuta was talking about the trans community.
Yes.
She was
I remember that.
I was there that night. She was talking about the trans community and stuff like that, all in jest, and it wasn't even anything derogatory about the trans community. She was just talking about the trans community, and a trans woman came up literally behind her and stared her down while she was doing her set at Hamburger Mary's.
And none of the employees there.
Everybody was like getting ready to, and G turned around and Jennifer was there, and oh, what's your name? Jennifer. Do you have a problem? No, I'm just making jokes here.
Mhm.
Stuff like that. And Jennifer ended up walking out. But it was very, very intimidating.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
intimidating.
Yeah.
To have somebody standing behind you while you're performing and just stare at you.
Well,
Yeah. I wouldn't have, I couldn't have continued on. I'd be like,
that to Clinton the whole
Yeah.
time she was talking during the debate.
I feel like if you want to learn how to deal with like hecklers and people intervening, you got to watch some like Steve Hofstetter.
Oh yeah, Steve Hofstetter.
That's
yeah.
that's the guy who deals with
There
hecklers.
was that one night, the Red Line, where we were on a tear with hecklers.
Oh yeah, the one dude that was drunk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We were on a roll with the hecklers.
Oh yeah, because he was all like, "This is the worst show I've ever been on." I'm like, really? Because the last show you were on was what, Cops? Like, everybody was ripping into it.
Every
And
single
there was another
comedian.
night where there was this couple that was getting married, or no, this bride to be, and she was with her girlfriend, but they're standing next to the stage. They're being just chatty.
Loud.
No one cared. And I went up there and I just intervened myself into the conversation. They got mad. I'm like, you just mind your own business. I'm like, lady, you're talking so loud. Everybody here knows your business. There's people waiting to use the restroom that know your business right now. I mean, she was like, they were just loud, and then they left. And like, everybody's happy. And I remember she left as if it was going to be a big loss to us. I'm like, no, everybody's happy. Go ahead, leave. You're threatening us with a good time. Go ahead, leave.
You're threatening us with what we want.
Yes.
So speaking of toxic masculinity,
Speaking of toxic
good
masculinity,
segue. By the way, I was
yeah,
going to say it's a good segue.
it is great. Yeah. So today I'm going to do part 2 of what am I calling it? I'm calling it The Enemy is Woman into the Manosphere. So this is a series about the male supremacy movement. If you missed the intro, it is on my YouTube channel. And when I get my own station or my own show, which I'm going to be getting my own show, then I'll be doing a recap of that as well. Today, we're going to keep it short and sweet because there's plenty of things to talk about. I want to go over some of the lingo, do a brief overview again of the history, and kind of just call it from there because the lingo is super fun and it's a lot of information. I remember, do y'all remember we used to take vocabulary tests when we were kids?
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Like that's like a whole test in itself. Okay, so we don't need much more than that. So I wanted to start with just some of the general terms in discussing this. So there's patriarchal violence, which is one of the main things that results. This is, well, I'll just read the definition. It's an interconnected system of institutions, practices, policies, beliefs, and behaviors that harm, undervalue, and terrorize girls, women, femme, intersex, and gender nonconforming and other gender oppressed people and communities. Patriarchal violence is widespread, normalized, epidemic based on the domination, control, and colonizing of bodies, genders, and sexualities happening in pretty much every community globally. It's a global power structure and manifests on the systemic, institutional, interpersonal, and internalized level. It's rooted in interlocking systems of oppression. And that is the definition coming from Abolishing Patriarchal Violence Innovation Lab. So patriarchal violence, obviously, we see this in effect by, domestic violence. We see it in hate crimes. We see it in other countries, like think of how the Taliban treats women. I mean, all of these things is very widespread. And what makes it so successful when, some guys are like, well, I would never do that. Well, you don't have to, because the threat exists that you could. We're living in a system where all women know that this threat is very real to me. I'm just not sure from whom. So it is a system that, perpetuates all male, it helps all men, whether or not men are using their own patriarchal violence. Yes.
Now, when I heard the word patriarchal violence, I was thinking, because patriarch is father. Right?
Yeah.
Father and violence. And I'm glad you told me the definition, because I was trying to come up with my own definition in my head. When I hear that, I keep thinking of that systemic system that gets passed on from generation to generation, from father to son. Then when he grows up, it has a son, passes on to him, which is basically the father.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
kind of the cycle of abuse.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So
That's where my mind was going. When I heard those words, because that's also another thing you see that.
I mean, that is, but that would be more considered domestic violence.
It's more enclosed.
Patriarchy, like the whole general system in order that is male supremacy. It's kind of just it's a little interchangeable.
Yeah, what I'm thinking was more of like a smaller scale, but like still part of it, but like on a smaller one that still feeds into it too, in a way.
Definitely. And here's some of the terms, like, especially if you're going to start reading from the men's rights paper side, there is affirmative consent, and it's the feminist idea that consent for sex needs to be continual and enthusiastic, as in the male must continually stop at every stage to ask the woman how she's feeling and if she wants to continue. And this is from the men's rights side. This is their interpretation of affirmative consent. It also states that drunk sex invalidates consent, and that consent can be withdrawn at any time, even after the sex has happened in some cases. Feminists see consent as entirely the responsibility of men, but some go further and say that men automatically consent even if drunk or asleep. So, so I went from one, this is from the men's side. Obviously, this is very problematic. Consent, as we all understand it, just means we want to make sure that the person really wants to be having sex with you.
And it's usually guys that try to over dramatize it. Like, well, I got to ask the whole time. I'm like, no, you have to have a communication. Sometimes you don't have to say too much, but you have to be on the same page with that person.
Right. So which makes me want to, Return of Kings, as you remember, I brought up last time.
Yes.
They were an offshoot of the Pickup Artist, and Rush V is their leader. And this guy had a series of what were called his bang books. And in his bang books were basically guides, like how to make any women have sex with you specifically to the country, and how to manipulate them into it, and sometimes by physical force if you have to. I never liked that whole male perspective on sex growing up, because I have a lot of male friends from the Midwest, and you'd always hear stories of, like, I seduced her or whatever, like that, and I conned her. I'm like, I never liked that. I'm like, so you're basically pulling a fast one. Yes.
See, in my opinion, from my sexual experience, I've always found it's always best when they want it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Way better.
It is way better.
Yeah.
There's sometimes when I don't want to do it back, and I actually have to be the one that actually says no. And I always feel weird being on that side. But
do you want to uncomfortably read one of Rush V's takeaway? This was in Iceland, by the way, where they have stricter.
My contact.
No, okay. And I had printed it out, but of course I left it on my printer. So I'll just read what Rush V said. This is from one of his bang books. Yes, very worrying. Absolutely.
That word, even bang.
Oh yeah, it's gross. Yeah. It's and it has been called like a how-to rape guide. So this one is from one of his stories in Iceland. While walking to my place, I realized how drunk she was. In America, having sex with her would have been rape since she couldn't legally give her consent. It didn't help matters that I was relatively sober, but I can't say I cared or even hesitated. I won't rationalize my action, but having sex is what I do. You know what? I put another part of that in there and I just can't say it out loud.
It sounds bad. but it
Yeah,
couldn't,
I was
mean,
just, I was going to read further into, some of this is so bad, y'all. Where is the rest of his?
that is just demented.
And he has plenty of things like that. I might have closed his page just because I got sick of looking at it.
Is any of this, do they ever wear a condom or is it?
Not if they can help it.
Okay.
So here's a story from when I was in the Navy in 2009, I think is when this book called I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell came out by Tucker Max. Mm-hmm. And all of the men on my ship were passing it around. And like, you have to internalize a lot of misogyny as a woman in the Navy, particularly on warships where, my ship was the most women at once, and we peaked at 20%. Most of them sit around 10% of women on the ship, and they just won't provide more berthings. So you can't get more women. Not that they couldn't, they just don't. And so this book was being passed around, and one of the guys was like, "Oh yeah, you're super cool. You want to read this? It's hilarious." It was a book full of moments like this, of this guy getting drunk, using these manipulation tactics in order to have sex with women, and doing also really disgusting things to them. And like finding out that this is being passed around by all the guys on my ship was really horrifying, because then I also found out that they had a standing bet over who was going to sleep with every single new girl who got to the ship. So it was like an onslaught of who can, I hate to use the word seduce, because it's not seduction. No. You seduce somebody you want to be with,
and that well.
Yeah.
You want to become more friends.
This is manipulation. Yeah. And so it was pretty horrifying. And they made a movie out of it. And I'll bring more about that, because that's going to come more up when we do the PUAs.
Because it doesn't surprise me when you're thinking about generations and generations of men on a ship.
No. So I did a dissertation when I was finishing my undergrad in sociology of gender class. The Navy is actually the branch that has been able to hold on to its old boys club the most, because they can allow so many, if they keep a whole berthing for men, if they don't clear it out, then it stays for men. And so by keeping the majority and insisting on handling like all of these rape cases in-house and whatnot, they are able to maintain the status quo of this very much patriarchal violence.
So basically like a Christian college.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, like, so.
No, seriously. Maybe it's a joke, but they do it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
There was a girl on our ship. We were in Tahiti, and she was 18 or 19. And these guys took her out and they got her really wasted. And then one of them took her into the bathroom and like raped her, basically. And afterwards, I'm sorry, she's taking advantage of me because she knows that we're on air.
Well, there's also that story. There's a Christian college where literally a girl came forward about how she was raped, and she was also drunk at the time, and the college decided to not go after the boys, but go after her.
Yeah.
You were drinking, and that is against our school rules. Rape, apparently not on the rules, but drinking on the other hand.
Yeah, and I actually have the part about how Betsy DeVos back that stuff. But anyways, this girl, like they had to stop her whole ship. They had NCIS come in and everything. And after it was all said and done, they took her off the ship, left him on the ship to keep doing his job, and then flew her back later. And everybody turned on her because if you didn't side with the guy, especially you would be ostracized. You have to take his side. And eventually they discharged her from the Navy. And what they were doing at the time was they were saying it's because women have type B personalities. So every woman who was getting raped or sexually assaulted, they would get discharged and say, oh, they didn't have the right kind of personality to be in the Navy. That was going on for a long time, right when I was getting out. A friend of mine had been raped so brutally by a coworker on her ship. He had ripped her hip from the socket and gave her permanent brain damage. She was in a wheelchair for over a year. And then the next morning he texted her and was like, I hope you liked it rough or something, like to really rub it in. And then their chief was like, it sounds like it was just consensual rough sex. And no charges were ever pressed against this guy. Nothing ever happened. She got discharged. Also, they put type B personality and everything.
Is it an honorably discharged?
Yeah, she's still honorably discharged, but it's honorable medical. And the guy stayed in and he's doing just fine. And he made rank, everything.
And he's still raping women.
And probably, yeah, brutally, like not even just like this coercion, like, oh, I got her drunk. Like I also destroyed her body in the process. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty rough. But yeah. Oh, so while we're already talking about that, the Betsy DeVos. So in 2017, Betsy DeVos invited like a bunch of these men's rights activists.
No, she is disgusting.
Yes. Yeah. And what she had them do. So these groups, they will falsify statistics and whatnot. And I don't know if you remember last time I was talking to you about the group who makes it a habit to out the women who make these accusations or like turn people in for being raped. And if the campus doesn't do anything about it, then this group will go and they'll put their pictures out and they'll out her. There's also a website called Register Her that Paul Elam had started. And basically any woman they thought should be in jail or killed or who disagreed with them or who was a feminist or who was a rape accuser. These were people that they were literally trying to incite violence against. But Betsy DeVos brought all these people together and using their false data saying that, most women are making these things up. They rolled back any campus protections these girls had, and that's how they were left being unsafe and unsupported, and the women were getting outed, and there was encouragement to harass these women. Most of them had to leave school after this time period because of her allowing it. So it's not just like men in the men's right movement. There are women, generally extremely fundamental Christian women, who are definitely helping them.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of religious doctrine to it. Like it's usually from very conservative Christian backgrounds and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because,
yeah,
Jesus and all that.
Yeah, because that's what Jesus would do.
Yeah.
Just a couple stuff from like the incel world vocabulary. You've probably heard of these alphas, betas, and omegas.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So real quick, alphas are men who are able to get sex and affection they desire because according to incels, they display the traits of being popular, dominating, usually tall and athletic. And incels believe women cannot resist being attracted to men like this. Like we just see a Chad is another, we might call him a Chad.
Wait. So women are attracted to attractive people? Wait, people are attracted to attractive people?
Yeah.
That's shocking. Hold on, let me write that one down.
Right, but then you also have to blame society for that.
Oh, of course. I was going to say, where's the victim card in this one? And there it is.
Yeah. Well, in a beta, any man who is not confident, who is submissive, and is not especially physically virile. Some betas might occasionally have sex, but they aren't nearly as successful as alphas.
Yeah, that's Jesse Lee Peters, the black televangelist who has a YouTube channel who says that word. Beta. Who also, by the way, which falls into this category because he did a show one time that he got a lot of heat from Christians and atheists and everybody because they literally talked about women shouldn't go to school. Yeah, it was him and like 4 other people, and I guess his crew, which by the way, all of them look like they've never been on a date in their entire life. Spoiler alert, because even Jesse asked, they all basically admit that, none of us are married. And like, there's a shock.
Yeah.
Like, we already figured that out. You didn't have
in the news.
It was already implied from the conversation you guys are going about how women, they should just really make dinner. They shouldn't go to school or anything like that. Like, okay.
Yeah. Well, So then moving on to even worse than beta is the omegas. And this is a male lower than betas in terms of their ability to interact with women and function in society. In incel terms, this person has zero ability to engage with the opposite sex. Some incels refer to themselves as betas. Some say they are omegas. It's internet lingo. People use different terms in different ways. So, but I do want to say we haven't gotten into each of the groups yet. But suicide in the incel community is a legitimate option for them. They believe that if they are one of these omegas and they are living in pain and there's nothing, like some of them will be like, well, yeah, well, why don't you just do it? And it's kind of glorified. And then the next step up is obviously to go ER, or Elliot Rogers. That's another term. Elliot Rogers is the Isla Vista shooter outside of Santa Barbara. And he wrote the 144-page manifesto that they all exalt. I had a quote from that I thought I would share, so you kind of understand where these guys are coming from. It's a little long. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. So, and then I'll try to wrap this up, just because it's a lot for this. But so this is one of the things that Elliot Rogers put out, that all these omegas and some betas really feel in their hearts. All I have ever wanted was to love women, but their behavior has only earned my hate. I want to have sex with them and make them feel good, but they would be disgusted at the prospect. They have no sexual attraction towards me. It is such an injustice, and I vehemently question why things had to be this way. Why do women behave like vicious, stupid, cruel animals who take delight in my suffering and starvation? Why do they have a perverted sexual attraction for the most brutish of men instead of gentlemen of intelligence? I concluded that women are flawed. There is something mentally wrong with the way their brains are wired, as if they haven't evolved from animal-like thinking. They are incapable of reason or thinking rationally. They are like animals, completely controlled by their primal, depraved emotions and impulses. That is why they are attracted to barbaric, wild, beast-like men. They are beasts themselves. Beasts should not be able to have any rights in a civilized society. If their wickedness is not contained, the whole of humanity will be held back from advancement to a more civilized state. Women should not have the right to choose who to mate with. That choice should be made for them by civilized men of intelligence. Wow. And let me tell you, incels often refer to him as the great gentleman.
I got coalition of material written.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah. So, and there's 144 pages of this.
I just want to point out some real quick here.
Please.
It's like this dude didn't get over high school. This is high school stuff. This is like I had a crush on someone and she dated a jock. Why is she with him? And then I moved on and found somebody else.
Yeah.
It's like he's still in that mentality and getting over it. But here's the thing, it's not a male thing, it's also female. I know I have female friends in high school that wanted to date an attractive guy and they wouldn't date her. And
I've definitely done that.
Yeah. So
definitely like putting guys who didn't like me back.
It's like he is stuck in a time loop in high school and he can't get out of that. They won't sleep. Did you think about having a personality?
Yes,
because
that's something to bring up about Elliot Rogers. Is he's one of the most attractive incels. People were like, "Why is he having trouble?" Listen to him. He
has a really bad personality.
Listen to this guy. That's why.
If Pete Davidson.
Pete
I go further. I am not an attractive person, but I have been lucky enough to find women that were goodly enough to sleep with me. But it was always based on my personality. It definitely wasn't my looks. Even though a lot of girls have said you're kind of cute, I would even kind of point out, okay, we all know that I am not. but you were sweet to say that.
You are not unattractive. You're above average.
The point is, you can't use that as an
excuse. You can't. No, you can't.
He is stuck in a time loop in his own head and he is literally regressed to almost worse than high school, I would say.
No, it probably goes back to
it's a mental problem right there.
This
is like
a friend of mine on here says
that. I mean,
a friend said, yeah, if he's a gentleman, then I'm a raptor. Yeah.
If he's a gentleman, I'm a duke.
Yeah. No, that guy.
But no,
And then after that part, he went on to go stab 4 of his male roommates who were Chads. And
oh
then go
yeah,
kill some
that's this
Stacys.
guy. I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this guy couldn't get out of his own head.
Do you remember the video he recorded in his car before he went and did all this? He had a final video message on YouTube he did. I think it's taken down. I'm gonna find it though.
Yeah, he's got all the makings of a serial killer. That's what he is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, instead, he ended up being a mass killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a spree killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just a couple in this language. There are normies, which are anyone who isn't an incel. And incels are generally hostile to normies.
Oh yeah, I've had a few.
Yeah. There are
They really get mad at me.
Yeah. There are Stacys. Stacy is a catch-all phrase for women who incels consider to be the top tier of attractiveness and thus are a huge target for their rage. Generally, they are described as athletic, blonde, and sexually experienced. But also, they don't want somebody, they want you to be sexually experienced, but not have sex with anybody else.
It's the whole idea. I want the experienced virgin.
Yes.
It's the dream they have. It's demented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Chads are the male equivalent of Stacys. So that's why Elliot Rodgers wanted to kill Chads and Stacys. And he is the person who, like everybody coins with the beta rebellion or the beta uprising or the incel rebellion. And there's also a manifesto by Harper Mercer, who I believe he was in the Oregon attack. I'm not sure. I have a timeline of all the different attacks that we're going to go over. Let's just do, there's White Knight, more a manosphere term than an incel one, but it provides more context about the way the community views women. And this is a male who attempts to gain the favor of or engage in sexual relations with females, who treats these females as innocent, delicate, beautiful goddesses who are in constant need of protection, defense, and social support, where the needs and the pleasing of females is top priority in the male's life. Needless to say, incels and men's rights activists is a pejorative term. In the manosphere, a lot of men profess to the guilty of white knighting at times, but it's perceived as weak or worse, a traitorous act towards the male gender.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
And I know I mentioned the red pill before. Some people are saying some funny stuff over here. They said the only experience they want is the toys and whatnot. Fingers and that's it. So the black pill is a metaphorical term used to describe the moments when an incel either realizes or is reminded that they are an incel. When something happens in an incel's life that reminds them that they are undesirable, that's a black pill. This colloquialism stems from the red pill, blue pill cultural meme within the men's right movement. Taking the red pill is supposed to signify the truth, while the blue pill represents blissful ignorance.
Or maybe getting their crap together and realize I need to have a shiny personality.
No. That's why they're constantly screaming at women to lower our standards.
Oh yes, of course.
Our standards are too high, and that's why we shouldn't be allowed to even pick our own mate. Our standards, our standards are both too high, but we're also stupid.
I love that ignorant stance of like, who we should be able to choose anything. No, I don't think so. I don't want you guys to choose what I'm having for lunch, let alone.
I literally just listened to a video from one of these guys earlier who said, you realize that the uterus is not on the inside. And we were like, what?
Was the video inside of a truck?
No, it was somebody they had called into another TikTok.
Okay.
Oh man, if I wasn't on it right now, I'd play the
This is the
clip.
ones that will say you made me do it.
Mhm.
It's your fault that I hit you.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
your fault we're in this argument. It's your fault this.
Yes.
You know.
These men in the manosphere, nothing is their fault.
No.
Literally everything is women, and it's so sad because and I'll show the evolution when we get there. Now it went from being elbows crossed with the women's rights movement in the 70s to by the time we get to the 80s, they're like, you know what though? Nothing's improved for us. So I guess women are the problem. We're going to go back to oppressing them. And then everything will feel better.
They didn't catch on to the idea that the whole world needs to change.
It was just too much work. It was just too much
It's not
work.
too much work. It's the easiest thing in the whole world to do, man. it's self-defeating mentality. Too.
Yes.
And
it
don't get
is.
me wrong, I am good at beating myself up, but not this bad.
Yeah.
I shared
Yeah.
it on my TikTok.
Like if I try to get into a relationship and I go on a bad date, everything, I don't instantly think it's her fault.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think, what did I do? How did I mess this up? Can I improve
I
on
was
this?
the same way. I'm
Or-
always self-doubting.
Or even better yet, sometimes it's a bad date, but it doesn't go any like negativity way. It's just,
Right.
we just weren't meant for each other. I'm
Right.
actually friends with somebody for a long
Oh,
time.
that-
I went on a first date with. We did not connect,
Yeah.
but we ran into each other at another bar, and then at another bar. We found out we're just exchanged phone numbers
Mhm.
and became friends where we hang out. Where sometimes I drive her drunk ass home sometimes when I was living in Indianapolis because she was too drunk to drive.
It reminds me of one of my favorite Fiona Apple songs. She's like, it's all right if the song ends in the minor key. Like, I love what we started, but sometimes we just have to part. And like,
Yeah,
it's
you're not-
fine. Sometimes it just doesn't
You're
work.
not meant for
Yeah.
everybody out there. The problem is they have that mindset that's set with also with what you were saying, which is I need to conquer as many women as I have to. No, just
Well,
moderate numbers. Just because you didn't
and the problem
have
is
sex with a lot of people doesn't mean
my dog.
a bad thing. It's
Right.
It's not good or bad. It's not number. It's not
Well, it's this,
quantity. It's quality.
well, a lot of it is their belief on what life should look like. And like, you know,
the
how
picture
women,
has
we've
mine,
stopped, women have stopped dating because of a lot of this that's going on, because it is
Yeah.
growing and it is violent and it is dangerous.
And you got to
And-
be careful. Yeah.
By the way, we're happier. We're living longer lives, but yet they're getting angrier. Like, we can't, like, they won't listen. Like, you know, you don't have to live your life just waiting for somebody to come and fulfill it. Like, you have your own life to live, you know, make yourself happy, do the things you want, and then you'll meet somebody, maybe, or maybe you won't. So what? Not everybody has to.
Yeah, I went on a date with a
together.
girl one time where she wanted to take a picture of my driver's license. And I thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah, no. I've done that before.
Yeah. And I asked questions.
So is Reese.
I think she was a little taken back, but I was like, no, I'm just curious because no one's ever asked to take a picture of my license before. And she explained it.
Yeah.
Made sense. I'm like,
Makes
okay, I got nothing to
See,
hide.
that's a good guy.
I'm like, but I did tell her flat out though, I'm like, dude, if I do have any unusual deductions from my bank account, I am going to be calling you because you're the only person that has my information now.
Oh yeah. No, I've definitely done that.
But we joked about it and we had
Right.
fun with it. And I
And
showed
you
her that there was
understood.
levity of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you got nothing to worry about. Boom. I'm like, here, and that's my
You're
actual
safe.
address and everything. Don't worry about it. I
Yeah.
don't want to know where you live, but now you know where I live.
Well,
Don't
you know,
stalk me either.
I did
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
because, like, especially when I was living in another state from my friends and family. So then they would know who I was last with and what his address
Yeah.
was. And just in case, because like that's an actual precaution we have to take. And I think this dog is
Yeah, but I did the smart thing. I made a joke out of it. We moved past it and we still had a fun time.
yeah, it shouldn't derail
I
it.
did that in the early 80s because I was in another town with some girlfriends and we were all going to eat. And he was going to join us and he wanted to know if I wanted to ride with him. It was really stupid. But anyway, I took a picture and we all ended up safe and sound. But that was, you know, what I needed to do. And he didn't have any problems with it. And everything was just fine. And I appreciated that. It's funny because it would never dawn on me that a guy, a genuine guy who understood about women would be offended by that. It never even dawned on me that
And-
that could have happened.
and-
But you know, yeah. it
Well,
could
I
have
also kind of
happened.
understood it because I have been in like 2 or 3 sketchy situations where I wish I took a picture of their license.
Of their
plate.
license.
Yeah.
There was a girl that actually kind of held me hostage at her house after a date and everything else, and she did not want me to leave at all.
Whoa.
Even said flat out, showed me her knife collection,
Oh, wow.
which I thought, okay, probably not the thing you want to do on a first date. Show a knife collection.
Oh.
Yeah.
But she jokingly, and she tried to play off like she was joking. She said, I think I'd rather cut you than save you with the world. She said that in a very
Oh.
dark, honestly. Now, I'm honestly giving her a benefit of the doubt. She's probably joking, but still, the fact that she was
I think
being
she's
very,
letting
like,
you know her
I'm keeping-
kink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's just out in her
absolutely.
kink.
And I feel like I feel like a real heel, but I I did an
She's
old
usually
50s
not
dad
that
trick
talkative.
by telling her,
We usually
I'm out
hear
of
from her
smokes.
once
I
or
need to go
twice.
get some.
It's 'cause
I'm gonna
they
come
can
right
hear
back
her
though.
Yeah,
And I didn't
more
come back.
drinks.
good.
So yeah, I use
Good.
that trick and I do feel bad doing it, but at the same time, she's like blocking the door, telling me about knives, telling
No,
me
that's really
and it's just a
intimidating.
bunch of weird, it's just
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
weird vibe. But at the same time, she was trying to treat it like it was a joke.
No,
She
she was
didn't.
being intimidating by blocking the door.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
okay.
No,
That's-
it's not.
But
No,
like
I would be scared out of my
but-
mind.
but like
I would
I-
be real close to kicking somebody in the nuts.
But like
to
I
get
did,
out.
I did tell her I'm gonna go get a pack of smokes. I'm gonna be right back, and I did be right back.
And she didn't try to get a hold of you after that or anything
She
like that.
she tried texting me like 2 hours later because she had my phone
No,
number,
did.
and
I
I just said
didn't
I
want
just
to
went
talk.
home. Oh, I thought you were coming back. Yeah, I was real
Just
tired.
had
I gotta go,
down
and I hung up the
French
phone,
fries.
and I never called her back again.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
That's
But yeah, I mean,
terrifying.
it doesn't happen as often because I do know, statistically speaking,
Yeah.
I'm in the minority.
But
of that one.
you know what though? Like, so here's the thing. There are actual things that the men's right activists could be doing, but they don't put out any meaningful support or places that people can go and get help. What they try to do is influence women and policies on women. They don't
and they
have
double
these.
down on their own spiel. They
Right.
double down on it. Like
But you
there's
have to
no
remember-
moving about. There's no thinking. It's not a think tank of ideas. It's like
no.
we believe this. That's it.
Well, you have to remember there are also different groups with different ideologies. You missed the intro, but I'll just send you at least the notes so you can kind of see it if you want. But like, they have different goals. Like the men's right activists, they want to influence policies, and they do it all on the under the bridge of, oh, these are fathers' rights, but really it's all just anti-women. And like the National Coalition for Men, what they do is they go into like women's groups who are like, maybe we're going to have like a women's mixers for a networking party. They go to it and they sue them. They have bankrupted companies trying to help women network with each other.
I always love this whole idea of the fact that they have to go there as if like they're being oppressed. Yes, men have been oppressed in this country for far too long.
Really.
Yeah.
It's about time someone put their foot down.
That's what the red pill is. If you are a red pillar, you are saying you
Okay.
understand that men are actually the ones oppressed.
Especially if they're white. White
I
and
know.
Christian. White Christian men, they've been oppressed for far too long.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's just insane. It's like
Yeah.
you are literally the biggest crybabies and have gotten away with so much crap in history,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
yet
Yeah.
They're
like,
still
you
doing
have
it.
the fact that you could do that with a straight face and say that you're being oppressed because they do that.
I know.
Oh, yes.
They do this.
And they're
I've seen videos
serious.
of Christians going,
Oh,
us
you
Christians, us Christian white men,
Okay.
we're being
You
oppressed.
see
Oh, you're
Jordan
not.
Peterson cry like, what
yeah.
about the men? What about the men?
Well, do you
Mm.
think Jim Jordan is one?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So speaking of, yes, there have been actual, which group was it? Was founded by, it was the Red Pill. It was the Red Pill Reddit subreddit was founded by a New Hampshire state rep, Robert Fisher. He had done it secretly, but when they found out, he resigned. So yes, these men are involved all up and down through the ranks. And you can tell by their language. That's why it's important to learn the lingo and how they use these things and these false statistics, because not all of them are going to be like, card carrying members of these groups.
Yeah.
And just a reminder, it wraps up really nicely with the white supremacy movement because it is about maintaining.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah.
Madison Cawthorn.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I was just going to say, like, another one of the groups that was different from the men's right activists were the pickup artists, where their whole thing is they will do anything to lure and trick and rape women just to get the sex that they feel they're
VH1 gave
entitled
them
to.
a reality show, to be honest.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I remember there's the pickup artist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
Did they know what they were? Oh my God. And then the
It
Return
was
of
in
the
the
Kings.
90s. A lot of bad things happened in the
Oh.
90s. Jersey Shore, for instance.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
that's prior than the.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that. Yeah, the Return of Kings are kind of the same, only much more violent. And then incels who want the incel uprising, they want to overthrow half those guys. They hate them.
See, to me, it's this weird kind of universe.
It is.
When really all you gotta do is, I don't know, have a better personality. Like
Yep.
like the easiest thing in the whole world to do is just be a nice person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
But
There
they're
was
doing
a-
all these it's like you could walk over here, or you could go down this one path where you got to jump over hurdles, avoid spikes, and jump over the alligators or something like that. I'm going to choose this path. Why don't you just go over here?
right. Yeah. No, Darren brought up there's been some people who are like, well, what if we just find a way to get them all laid? Like, why don't we just show them that they don't have to get laid? Like, not, sex is not like on the hierarchy needs of survival for
That's-
one thing.
Yeah, that wasn't actually my idea. That
No.
was-
Yeah, no. It
that
was
was
not
somebody
Darren's
else's
idea.
idea.
He brought it.
I think you actually hit on it too, because that was the other point I want to make is I think they're overthinking it too much.
It's not, and a lot
When
of
you
it is
think of-
pops culture, honestly.
If you think about sex less often when you're dating someone, you find this interesting thing happen where it will happen naturally.
Right. And
But
so
if you
then
try really hard for it to happen,
Never
it
happened.
doesn't happen. It's
Well,
like
it's not even that. It's it is the
but
personality
in a
thing.
way, but yeah,
It's a-
personality, and also they're overthinking this way too much.
Yeah, and then
it's
they
created
just
this
spiral out.
mental problem block in their head, and now they're a joke on the internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're also very dangerous, and they are also actually terrorists.
Oh.
And they do have political agendas, and they do want to terrorize people. Oh, and then one of my favorite groups, though, is the MGTOWs, which are supposed to be men going their own way as their own separatists, except for all they ever do is talk about women. Like, they won't leave us alone. They're going their own way, but not really.
It's
So-
like a comedian pointed out one time when guys catcall. Has there ever been an opportunity where the girl turned around and said, yes, I'm ready to go? Like, has it ever happened? Has it ever happened? I think it was a female. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I
But I remember
this.
comedians saying that.
I
Has
said,
it
"When
ever
there's a-
happened? So why do you keep doing it?
Oh, there was this one YouTube video that I remember. A woman walking by construction workers. A construction worker was
What do you mean the
wearing-
video?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
and then she would walk by and hey baby, how you doing? And then she would turn right around and go, oh, I'm fine. How you doing? What's going on? And so start pointing back.
Yeah.
He's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it is now 5:08. You're listening to news. What news here on Q4? Ooh,
Q4 radio.
K4.
K4.
That's a
K4.
Is that the new call sign now?
Yeah.
Don't worry,
Uh,
these mics have condoms. y'all.
Yeah. iTunes, tune in, AM 1680 and Q4.org, K4.org, QUE4.org. I guess we should talk about the Oscars.
Yeah.
Get back to the Oscars. It's
Yeah.
the fluff.
If you didn't see
It's
the
time for the
video
fluff.
show-
It is time for
Yeah,
fluff.
it's time for
So-
fluff, but if you didn't see the
All
show, it's
right.
on the-
Did you
and
watch,
then I'll be
Ben?
putting this up too.
Jeff?
I watched the aftermath, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think most of the world saw the aftermath.
So
Like anyone who's never watched the Oscars, damn, please see a smidgen.
A smidgen of it.
So I
Exactly.
made my guesses, but I
Yes.
did not actually watch the whole thing.
Okay. I watched it for only 2 hours.
Okay.
I didn't see it from the very
Check on the
beginning.
But you know who all the winners are.
Yes. Yeah.
See,
So I got it.
what Katie does every year is she gets a list of all the nominees, and then we take our guesses at who we think is going to win. So for Best Picture, the winner was.
Coda.
Did you guess?
No. And I did terrible on this one.
Well,
Well, wait,
where's
did y'all
Coda?
do
I've
your
never heard of it.
did y'all do your like brackets like for March Madness?
No, no, but we could next year.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
totally,
we
or like
should.
I'll get
We
it
should
on
do
a
that.
box.
Yeah.
I'll get it. Can we do
Yeah.
boxes? No, that doesn't work because there's no
Okay.
score.
So anyway, Coda
Alex.
is the abbreviation of Children of Deaf Adults.
Yes.
And
Okay.
basically there was only one act out of the family that was involved. There was only one hearing child, and everybody else in the family was deaf.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's
Wait, what is this?
It's called Coda.
Oh, I
And it
feel
was
like I
about
heard.
this young girl living in a family full of
Okay.
deaf, hearing impaired deaf family. So anyway, that one Best Picture, I guess that.
Yeah. Did you? Good for you.
Yeah.
I was thinking Belfast. I was
Okay.
thinking Belfast.
Oh,
I-
so
I
a
like
night
that.
where we have Best picture from a family who is dealing with disabilities. We also have a comedian who is making fun of people with disabilities.
There you go.
Yep.
It's all tracking.
The director. What did you do on the director?
I guess Kenneth Branagh.
I did Jane Campion,
And who won?
and it was Jane Campion.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's good. I was really mixed on the actor in a leading role.
Yeah.
So we're just going down how, the
I
ballot came out.
predicted Benedict Cumberbatch,
I did too.
but Will Smith won.
But Will Smith won. Yes.
I got the actress right.
I did too. Jessica
Jessica Chastain,
Chastain.
yeah.
Oh, she was so good as Tammy Faye Baker.
I just love
you
how you
seen
guys said that, and you guys
I
said
know. They're so adorable.
We've known each other a
long
long
time.
time.
I hear that.
I loved her in that Tammy Faye. She did an amazing job. The makeup and everything. Did you guys have a chance to see that?
I'm iffy on it
Probably
because
not.
I almost want to do it because I know it's based on like just the religious area, and I love making
What is
fun of
it?
that.
Oh,
Um,
no, it's not so
The
much
Eyes of
under
Tammy
it.
Faye.
It's
and it
really
won
about
Best
her.
Picture?
It does talk about the religion,
Okay.
but it does give you more in depth about her and what she was going through compared to what.
Like with the Jessica
Yeah.
Hahn thing and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
So that was
honestly know
Thanksgiving.
anything about that.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
It sounds really interesting. That's what other people are saying too.
Actor in a supporting role.
By the way, she's still alive. Jessica Hahn?
I missed it.
You missed it. What was it?
It was Troy Kutzer. who-
Okay, for Coda. Yeah, that's right.
Who is an actor who is deaf. And the woman that played his wife, Oh.
Marley Matlin.
Marley Matlin.
Yeah.
And so
Marley
Marley
Matlin.
Matlin. So you know about.
So
Yeah,
he's the
she
first. He's the first deaf man to win an Oscar. She's
Yes.
the first deaf
She's been
woman.
around since the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as a
she
deaf
has.
actress and all
Yeah,
that too.
she
Yeah.
was and she was with John Hurt. John
Yeah.
Hurt or William Hurt? I always
I
get him
forgot
mixed
which
up.
one.
But who just died after that?
Oh no, it is William Hurt.
It is William Hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, John Hurt. He died way before that. Too.
Yeah,
But he
John
was-
Hurt is the
John
other
Hurt's.
guy.
He was in the Home Alone movies. The father.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Oh,
And he was from Chicago.
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
you kind of
Yeah.
resemble him a little.
Okay, actress in a supporting
Let's
role.
see.
Who won?
Ariana DeBose
Okay, yeah.
for
that-
West Side
yeah.
Story.
Oh, wait.
And I thought Kristen
Maybe not
Dunst
that
would
guy.
win.
Yeah, I thought Judi Dench would win, but
Yeah, she
No.
was my first
Not
choice
this
and then
guy.
I backed out.
That's not the
Yeah.
guy from
The
Home
original
Alone.
screenplay, I'm so glad because Belfast won.
okay, I got King
John Hurt.
Richard. So
And I was just so
Oh, is he
happy
dead?
because that is just an amazing
Yeah, John Hurt.
story.
Heard.
And then, of course, the adapted
Sorry.
screenplay was
Coda.
Coda.
I
So,
got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got the same
International feature.
I predicted Drive My Car.
Did you? It won.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it won. I put the hand of God, but it was Drive My Car.
Okay.
Um,
Animated feature. I predicted Encanto.
Good for you. I did Flee.
Yeah. So I got that one.
You
okay.
got that right. Yeah.
Documentary. I said Summer of Soulwood.
I should have gotten that one. Yeah, that one.
Yep.
That one. So that's great.
Original score. I said Encanto.
I put in Conto, but it was Dune.
Oh, okay.
Dune that one, which I don't understand that at all.
Original song. Which one?
The original song was No Time to Die
Yeah.
because Billie Eilish.
It's a Bond song.
It is.
Whenever a Bond song gets
All
nominated,
of
it
them.
wins. Yeah.
Really? Did Duran get it?
I
Nah, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
think-
Cinematography.
Dune?
Dune.
Yeah.
Yep. The costume design.
Oh, we
which
knew that was
talked
going to be
about that.
Cruella.
It had to be. Yeah,
Cruella.
it did. The editing, again, I thought it was going to be The Power of the Dog, and it was Dune.
I got that.
Okay. Makeup and hairstyling, of course, The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Yeah, I got Cruella, but okay.
See, and you're not alone because I watched the movie Dune and I still don't get it.
I thought it was the longest movie.
I know, drag. Did it drag?
Oh my
it
God,
dragged.
it dragged.
And it had good people in it. Here's the thing:
Oh,
all the actors are great.
Yes.
They got a good team of actors.
Yep.
But they need to lighten it up
Oh,
a little
my
bit. It
God.
drags so often.
I-
I'm like, come on.
I was so sick of
man.
seeing brown.
I want to see the original dude, man. Let me see the original dude. At least
My
that
husband
was
saw it.
going.
Yeah, that's what my husband said. He saw the original. He said it's really good.
Billie Eilish
production
and our Big
design.
Brother producer for this one. Best
Dude.
original song.
Dude, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I said West Side Story. I thought.
Have you seen that? Have
No.
you seen it? No, I haven't either. Okay.
Sound?
Dune.
I said Belfast.
What did I get? No Time to Die. Visual effects.
Dune?
Dune.
I said Spider-Man No Way Home.
I did No Time to Die. I guess you know which movie I liked.
Spider-Man
Animated
should have gotten it.
shorts.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Animated shorts. It was The Windshield Wiper.
Okay, I said Robin.
Okay, I did Box Ballet. Live action short. The winner was The Long Goodbye.
I said Please Hold.
I did The Dress. And the documentary short, The Queen of Basketball.
Okay, I said 3 songs for Benazir.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Queen of
Okay.
Basketball. So, okay.
So I did better than you.
You did. I never
Wow.
do well on these things. I don't know why. I'm always happy because I just thought there was so much.
I always feel uncultured because I don't know half of those, man. I just
Oh.
know Dune, and I wish I didn't.
Oh, I know these movies are so good, but I didn't see
Katie, you
a
want to
lot
see
of
a
these
good
either.
movie that's long?
Yes.
The Batman.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
actually
you
good.
did
I liked
go
it.
see that. Yes.
Yeah.
I
It
saw
is
that
long
on
though,
James
but it
did.
is
It is long, but it's good.
Okay, that's
It's
what
it's
Tim
worth
said.
sitting through.
Okay.
Okay. TV. My new favorite show that we got through all the whole season of is it Cake?
Well, I watched it. I love it. Oh my gosh.
It's such a good. It's on
Oh.
Netflix.
It's a cooking show, right?
Yeah,
Well, but-
kinda. It's a competition. It's hosted by Mikey Day from Saturday Night Live.
And he's quite funny.
He is.
I like him better
Yeah,
here than I did
Did on
when
Saturday Night Live.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I did watch it. I watched the first 3 episodes.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, it is hilarious.
Yeah. Basically, it's a baking competition where they try to fake out the judges by baking cakes that look like objects, and like
Yeah, I see those in commercials because there's really good artists that can do that. Like they can make like something look real, but you find out it's a cake.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
I
like
get it. All right.
yeah, it's like a
Um,
handbag. You know, you get a handbag, and then the baker tries to make something look like a handbag, and then they put 5 real handbags around this.
Yeah,
one
I can
cake.
see the premise now. And it's like I'll give them this. It's a good idea because because you've seen how these cakes are made.
Oh,
So I guess
yeah.
that's a natural progression. You can make a show out of that. Yeah,
absolutely. But it's when they put that long
Knife.
serrated knife down, and it's like, oh my God, if that's really an expensive handbag. Oh my God, don't cut it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But like I said, I and Darren knows this. I have this mental block of like it's a reality show.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I just
But,
can't.
but you
I
have
can't.
to watch
I'm
the
not-
other episodes
I will.
because
I will
yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
because
It
the
is-
game changes up after they get
after
through all
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did watch it. I was going to text you and let you know, but yeah, that was good.
That was awesome. Yeah.
I think we went through like was it 90s and early 20s where we were just inundated with like every
Yeah.
reality show ever you could think of.
That's true.
Well, that's
And
'cause
in
the-
my mind I was like I'm done. Give me a script and some actors. That's what I got.
Well, in the early 2000s, if you remember, there was that huge writers' strike because Hollywood wasn't paying the writers.
No, but they were doing those reality shows before that, and let's be honest, it's lazy on their part. Not
I
the
can't
writers.
think of I can't think of very many. I think Real World came out in the 90s, and I think that first came out in like 94.
I think that's really
And-
what started the whole thing.
Right.
Real world. Yeah.
Well, no, there was supposedly some British reality show before that too, but
Big Brother.
well, and then of course Cops. But I can't think of
still like Cops.
But they just get carried away. with
right,
them,
but I
and
can't think of anything else in the 90s. It was the early 2000s that I thought they blew up, and as a result of the
that's what I said,
writers' strike.
2000. Well, I don't think it was necessarily that. Also, is the fact that it was most of these shows came out on VH1, and VH1 was just we're gonna be cheap. We're just gonna put celebrities or whatever on a dating show or put a bunch of celebrities in a room and get them to do weird stuff out in the world. And
Because
because why? Because we're VH1. We're done that way.
Yeah.
They made a show around a dude who lost on a dating show. Remember that guy who lived in his mom's basement?
yeah.
I was like, you centered a show on a loser of another dating show? Like, that is like just insane. Like, it's just weird. Like, it's an offshoot of that, but with the loser.
Yeah.
The only reality show I liked, and I can't remember who
But
put
it's
it
like
out,
the dating
but it
shows
was
like
called
The Bachelor.
Solitaire. I think it was called Solitaire or Solitarity or something like that. But
well, dating shows have been around since the 60s.
it wasn't a dating show. It was like solitary confinement, whatever. And you had to fill out paperwork to be on the show because it's going to mess with your mind. You are in a cube, basically. You don't know what time it is. You don't know. You don't get this. There's no windows.
I think there's a movie made of that.
Yeah, they made movies about it.
Yeah.
This was a reality show. Now you can leave anytime you want, but you forfeit winning a prize. But you stay, and they
What is
torture
this
you.
called?
Oh,
It's
my
called
God.
Solitary.
When does this come out?
It came out, I think, in the 2000s, I believe. I remember it was on G4 when that was.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sounds.
Oh.
I mean, we already knew that. That's wow.
I
From
think it was called
2006 to 2010,
Okay, yeah. But it was called
contestants
Solitary.
compete for prizes by enduring tough conditions such as solitary confinement and sleep deprivation.
And-
That's literally
and
war
former-
crimes under the Geneva
and former
Convention.
tortures and everything. Well, you had to sign.
Yeah, both of those-
You don't have. They don't force you to do it. You choose to do it, and if you don't, well, then you lose leave.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, those are considered torture under.
They're considered torture if it's applied to you against your will.
right. But like, because
instance-
of the circumstances that
Yeah.
happens,
Yeah.
because
Like,
of
for
what it
instance,
does to your mind.
For instance, a ball gag is also considered torture, but some people use it. And so you know what I'm saying, which they actually do on the show. But here's the thing: they tell you about what, like, because if you see somebody with a
know.
ball gag, you think that's nothing.
Right.
No, it messes with your jaw,
Yeah.
and it's torture.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you want to take it out. And again, they're not being forced to do it, but it's part of the game. You either do it or you leave.
You leave.
But they also
I
a
wouldn't
lot of it,
go.
a lot of it's psychological. They had one where you had to bounce a ball. Now you don't get to see each other. You're only given, like, I think colors or numbers, but you don't see each other. There's like other contestants. You can communicate through a speaker. You never see each other. There's no windows. They do with the sleeping thing. Like you go to bed, you don't know how long you're going to bed. It could be an hour, or it could be 6 hours. You don't know. And they'll just wake you up. But
Oh.
they had one thing about who can bounce this one ball. They all have a little ball. Who can bounce it the most in a certain amount of time? So all these people were doing it, except for one person was smart enough, didn't bounce it at all. He sat on it the whole time. And he just came up with a number.
Oh, I love it.
He did. And the funny part is, a lot of the contestants figured out he was lying, but he's like, the rules never said they said just bounce a ball, whoever has the highest number. Didn't say I had to bounce it that many times. Just said who had the highest number.
Oh, I
See,
love
and that's the
that.
part of the game. They give you rules, but they're
not
very
specific.
vague, and there's ways around it and everything. It was an interesting show. I miss it.
Do you remember the MTV show where it was based on Yo Mama jokes? And it was like slam Yo Mama
Yeah.
jokes.
I remember. I never watched it, but I
It was
remember it.
amazing. I've gone back and watched a few episodes and it holds up. Some of it does.
I don't think I ever saw that.
I don't think I have. either.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Solitary was a good show. I think they did 3 seasons, and I think they actually worked in conjunction with a college because they were actually studying the effects and everything. So it was like there was a lot of thought behind it. They turned it into a game show, but it was also an experiment, and they did testing.
Mhm.
and
Oh.
stuff.
So they were younger.
yeah.
Okay.
But and again, they weren't held hostage.
Right,
You can
right.
leave anytime you want.
Yeah.
Look this one
Right.
up.
Same thing with the Stanford experiment.
Yeah.
That was straight up torture though.
Look this one up, Rachel.
Oh, okay. I just
Yes.
pulled up a list of the 22 worst reality TV shows. by
I
the
think
way.
there's more than 22.
Yeah. But there was another reality game show called Flinch. I think it was out of the UK. And I hope they make another season of this. Basically, they put contestants in really stressful situations where they have to be still. And any slight movement and, they're out of the game or something happens to them.
Mm.
Like,
Ooh, they suffer painful consequences.
oh yeah,
Oh.
electric shock. Like for instance, they had this one thing where they had a ring around their necks and a box around their head that they could breathe through, and then they had chickens come up and start eating out of the thing while
Oh, I'm looking at this picture. Look at this.
Oh, right.
What was that picture of?
It was a guy's head in it, and like the chickens aren't there, but he's just like this weird ass face.
I love the fact that he gave him safety glasses, not goggles, as if they couldn't get around that.
They had another one where
Yeah.
Those are not. Oh wait, no, they are.
Those are safety goggles, yeah.
Okay.
they strap somebody.
This guy looks like
into
he's about to hurl.
like a long board. They put somebody on a long board that could go up and down, and they had this. They had to hang there, and they had on the opposite side a washing machine that would swing down and come very close to them, and if they flinched, the washing machine would come up and they get dunked in some water, muddy water.
I honestly would never want to like try to reverse condition myself not to respond to stimuli like this. Like I just because, but you know, I have PTSD and like my hypervigilance has now become like my superpower.
Of course,
And so I don't want
of course
to.
they had their typical, put a helmet on your head with needles and then the balloons and everything.
Are these little goats eating out where his feet are? This guy is laughing though. It looks like it tickles. Looks
Yeah,
like
I
little
think
goats are
that's
like
probably
licking
what it
his
is.
feet or something.
Well, because I think with flinching, it's not just scare tactics.
Yeah.
It's also because there
Yeah.
used to
Why did you ever come across that?
It was on Netflix.
Yes, 2019.
there used to be
Oh,
there
wow.
actually used to be another show, kind of like on the flinch only called Make Me Laugh.
Yeah,
That was a great show because they'd have comedians. The whole idea is they
they
make
put you in the
jokes.
chair.
Because I remember Ron Williams was on it one time.
No.
I remember he was on it one time.
They
And
set you
it,
down in the
that,
chair.
it was just done because it was like, I'm done. It's Robin Williams, man.
Yeah, and they put you in the chair, and then they had 3 different comedians that would come up one at a time and try to make you laugh.
And if you didn't
And-
laugh,
You
you win. If you laugh, then you lose. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that done on
Yeah.
a few other shows.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
so
remember
there's
the
something like that
real show was
going
called
on
Make
now.
Me Laugh, and they had Rob. I remember Rob. They always brought like a
God.
guest
There's
comedian,
something like
and they had
that
Rob
now.
Williams.
How can you?
And yeah, it was over after that. It's over.
I
after
just see Robin Williams and I'd already be smiling like,
that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think that was the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I just check out.
Okay, now I just have one album that coming out that I want to talk about,
Sure.
and it's funny because Rachel and I were on Thomas's Bottoms of the Barrel show this past Saturday. He actually mentioned this artist as a joke. This album, you know how they have this super deluxe reissues where they have all the extra stuff on it. This artist's album came out 37 years ago, and no, 35 years ago, and they're releasing it as a deluxe edition with additional music, remixes, live versions, things like that. The album, Whenever You Need Somebody, the artist Rick Astley.
Never want. Oh, you know what? My
That's on it.
wait, so
My friend just
Thomas
made-
Bombs did that, didn't he?
Yeah.
my friend Ben just made like a mashup of that and Skeletor laughing. Pretty great.
Yeah, and so it's got the it's got all the songs on it that people know. It comes out May 6th.
Let's be honest. Everybody only knows one song right now, and
Well, no, it's got Never Gonna Give You Up. It's got
yeah, that's what everyone knows right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
It's got Whenever You Need Somebody, Together Forever, Together Forever.
Oh yeah.
What was the other one?
What did start the whole Rick rolling?
It was an internet prank, then everybody
Yeah.
started doing it, and it just got turned into wildfire at that point.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's got reimagined versions of the songs. It's got B-sides. It's got remixes. There's 36 tracks altogether on this thing. So yeah. Rick Astley, 35 years ago. No, 35 years ago.
I just
Whenever You
realized
Need Somebody, the
I
deluxe edition coming
forgot
out
to
May
bring
6th.
some of my favorites.
That was all I wanted to talk about for that. It's now 5:30. You're listening to K4 Radio, News What News. Also, don't forget, we also, for your printing needs, we have Love Tinta Printing. Yeah. So anyway, going back to where we were before the fluff. Yeah, evil women. Let's talk about evil women.
I mean,
like
we already talked about evil men.
So
Jenny Thomas.
Oh, for a minute there, I thought you were going to talk about like Marsha Blackburn. But okay.
Oh, she is crazy.
Crazy. I know.
She is absolutely crazy. This woman scares me.
Yeah.
I mean, she scares me.
Who?
And
Who?
And Clarence
Marsha
Thomas needs to be impeached.
Yeah.
Absolutely corruptible, corrupted,
yes.
and using his position for.
Isn't he still in the hospital though right now?
No, he did get
Oh,
out.
he
He
did
did
get
get
out?
out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was the only no vote on the January 6th.
And now we know why he said
Yeah, we know
no.
why. Yeah.
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 That's weird.
It already stood out when he did. Everyone's like, "Why
Well, I mean,
did you say no?"
It's almost the same as remember Matt Gage was the only person that voted against certain sex crimes
Yeah.
in
Yes.
Florida, and then now we know why he did that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, well,
It's like
that
they
is
can't tell you
straight
who they
up.
are.
That is straight up out of the male supremacy movement policies that they want. The Return of Kings have openly pushed for rape to be legalized on private property.
yeah.
Like that's an actual law that they have and are trying to get passed.
Yeah, I heard that law. I heard about that law, yeah. So yeah, Jenny Thomas. We kind of knew that she was hiring the buses, but we didn't know that she was actually talking to people and yeah.
Sending texts.
Someone
and
someone pointed out too
Yeah.
that Jenny Thomas is into QAnon stuff. I'm like, yeah, there's a shocker.
So,
Yeah.
so what exactly? Can you go over the exact events that we do now know for sure that she has done?
Okay, we know back I guess about maybe few weeks after the January 6th incident.
Actually, during it.
Well, it started coming out that she had helped fund the buses to bring people to this rally, quote unquote rally.
Yeah, because nothing says grassroots like someone high up
Oh, yeah.
setting up buses for you, because that's grassroots.
Yeah, and then the whole
And they still believe they are grassroots.
I'm surprised they didn't have T-shirts made out that said January 6th
Yeah.
insurrection.
Well, she had sent out 21 text messages just leading up to January 6th and sent them to the chief of staff, Mark Meadows. And just, I mean, to me, that would be a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
which
would
by the
be-
way, I also
yeah.
want to point out now we know why Mark Meadows started clamming up. Remember,
Yeah.
he was
Well,
so
and
afraid that he kind of
And we've got to remember, she's not actually a political figure. She's an activist. She might as well be a lobbyist. She's trying to sway policy,
Oh, yeah.
the exact opposite of what her husband's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And she shouldn't be able to use his access to these people in order to do so.
well,
So that's already highly inappropriate.
well, now it's finally come full circle. All three branches of the government were involved in this thing.
Yes.
All three.
Of
So
course.
yeah. So yeah, I say impeachment too.
Well, and frankly, she should be in jail.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When's her trial?
Actually, I think she is. That was the other question. I think they actually now subpoenaed her.
Yeah,
right?
they-
Yes,
they're-
they did.
Yeah, they did.
That was
And-
done today, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Merrick Garland has authorized the hiring of 131 more investigators.
Oh, I wonder if I can get in on that with little to no.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've investigated my own things for college level academia, so I'm sure I can do this.
Yeah. So
That's got to be good enough.
so for those people
You're
that
more
say
qualified than what the Republicans have put up there for judges.
Yeah, I'm definitely more qualified
Yeah.
than Republican federal
Amy
judges.
Coney Barrett, you're more qualified than her.
Certainly,
Well,
certainly.
Well, everybody in this room is, though, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's
not.
not allowed to make decisions, so she can't be a judge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that kind of disqualifies you right away.
So I think they're using now. They're for now. Are they because the story is getting changed several times, and I know flat out they're telling him. I think the main thing they want is him to at least recuse himself.
Yeah.
Recuse
Recuse himself. Yes.
But now I think I heard now. Are they now? And I think there's some people that just want to straight up impeach him, or they're threatening him with impeachment if he doesn't recuse himself. Isn't that one of the
I don't
stories
know
too?
if they've done that yet. They're hoping he's going to recuse himself.
Yeah. Conservative
Um,
judge going to do the right thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I wish I had that kind of a fantasy life.
In Clarence Thomas's 3 decades on the bench, he has never stepped aside from a case due to a real or perceived conflict of interest resulting from his wife's political activities.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, now's a better time than anything to start.
I mean, it'd be really great to get Clarence Thomas out of there and get a new judge in order to
Yeah.
make up for the
because
to make up for the rapey judge and the judge who's not allowed to make decisions unless her husband says it's okay.
because when Clarence Thomas was in the hospital, there was talk of like, what if he doesn't make it out? And I remember there was a lot of conservatives that were doing that whole, we must pray for Clarence Thomas to make it out. First time white Christians have ever cared about a black man ever in their life.
Yeah.
Here it happened.
Well, he sexually harassed so many women.
Oh, he's so rapey.
that's probably why they let him in,
Yeah.
to be honest. So like,
Yeah.
well, he's black, but he does have that rapey factor to him. Okay, well,
yeah,
let him
and then he
in.
married a white woman, so
That
Yeah.
made it all fine.
Yes.
got it.
And the other thing too is, well, the what was it? I think it was
Greens.
Lindsey Graham.
It's always
Oh.
Lindsey Graham. There's always
Yeah.
something. I mean,
Yeah.
Mick
Yes.
Gillis, Lindsey Graham.
have we talked about that stupid question though? Can you define a woman to a judge who, like, first of all, there's no
Oh.
legal definition.
Yeah.
And it's also not a judge's duty to define a
Stupidest question.
yeah. And then they're like, how stupid you be to define a well, okay. So like what makes a woman? Reproductive. Well, what about women who have hysterectomies? Are they still women? What is it? Boobs? What if they have mastectomies? Are they still women? Like, no.
Well, what makes him mad? Well, what if he has a penis? Well, Ted Cruz doesn't have one.
Right.
He's closer to being a woman than anyone I know.
Well,
See, you don't put women down like that. We're way better than Ted Cruz.
here's the thing about Lindsey Graham though. I think it was him that said, we after the 2022 elections, we don't want to think about nominating another Supreme Court justice until after the 2024 elections. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, come
What?
on, man.
What?
I mean, it's
Look at Amy Cohen Barrett.
Yeah.
Like in the wire, like the clock already counted down.
and they
but you
wouldn't
still
even
threw that
see
ball.
Merrick Garland.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Reese is still upset
And then-
about them not even seeing Merrick
And then,
Garland.
and then Amy Coney Barrett is like, oh, hi, you're Amy Coney Barrett. Okay, come on in. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I
you're
said,
a
that's
cute
what I
white
said.
woman. This will be great for optics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's you know that they're shaking in their boots now because of the fact that Ginny Thomas is caught up in all this and possibly her husband is caught up.
They're on a sinking ship.
Yeah.
They're trying to patch it as it's going down.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, based on this country, they might be able to.
No, it's like the
But in the
like
way-
the Titanic. It's slowly sinking. They might as well pull out the band now.
But I mean, like, they're going to have a lot of survivors that shouldn't survive
Yeah.
since they're all the ones who helped sink the ship.
Yeah. I hate to say this, but I think McConnell's going to be one of the survivors.
Of course he will. That
Oh,
man
yeah.
is so
Yeah.
slippery.
Oh.
He's not even made of bones anymore. He's just straight up goo. You could suck him down a drain and he'd just come through the pipes.
But yeah.
He's more made of smoke, like Voldemort.
Unless something comes
know.
out
Looks
about
like
that
his skin's
aluminum
melted.
factory.
About what?
That aluminum factory that he got, the Russian oligarch that put the aluminum factory in his state.
In Kentucky?
Uh-huh. Wow.
I am so ready for Anonymous to reveal all Republican ties to Russia.
Yeah.
I'm so ready for it. You know, I mean, look, it's
And another
oil is a big part of it. And also, can we please, like, first of all, we only have 3% of our oil from Russia. So these
Yeah.
price hikes,
Exactly.
it's just a joke. It's just a lie. It's fabricated.
It's price gouging. I've
It
been
is.
telling everybody,
It is.
inflation is a funny way of saying price gouging.
Yeah, there's no
That's really what it
inflation
is.
right now.
You had record record sales.
Yeah, if you have record
During
profits,
the year before, and now you're like, well, we got to raise their prices because we're not. No, you made record profits last year. You don't need to raise nothing. If anything, you should lower them the other direction.
yeah. And I mean, just like why that isn't a bigger, why is everybody freaking out like, oh, we do need more oil, instead of like, maybe now's a good time to just make this fundamental shift. Like, no, Canada's not on board either. Justin Trudeau, I feel like Justin Trudeau and Macron get away with like being like pretty traditionally good looking white guys, but turns out that they're both pretty gross people too. Like they're all wrapped up in this corporate machine.
Yeah, because wasn't Macron mad at Biden? How dare you insult Putin?
Meanwhile, his people have been like, protesting him for years over workers' rights. Was it the state workers, like the police and the firemen and stuff? Like, he looks pretty. So Americans are like, oh, he's so good. No, he's not.
No, quite opposite. When I see a pretty person, I judge them.
Yeah, like just like an incel would. F those Nordies. Oh, those Chads. I'm just kidding.
No. The Republicans attracted to Russia. It's money, it's oil, it's political influence. But we also need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is
Trump.
The fact that Russia is their government is deeply Christian orthodoxy. And if you really look at the ties there was I think there was a documentary, I think it was done 2 years ago. I think it's on YouTube. I remember the name of it. But they actually showed the link between Christian orthodoxy in Russia and how it influences and puts money into. You found it?
No, I was just going to say Rush V also became a part of the Russian Orthodox Church, the Return of Kings. So it's also an influence in the male supremacy movement. I was just like holding on to this thought because I was just connecting it in my brain. Sorry.
But a lot of it is Christian orthodoxy that actually fuels a lot. Don't get me wrong, there's money, but a lot of it for the Republicans is because they're hardcore, Christian-y, and then and they see Russia and they think, oh, it's a Christian country. I want America to be like them. So they basically feed off of each other. And that's kind of why the main reason is I made a joke about it, but it actually links to this, which is why you have Pat Robertson, who was retired, decide out of the blue to go on TV just to say, well, yeah, Putin's mad, but he's doing the work of the Lord. And he's opening up a bridge to Jerusalem. And all that, like literally he came out of retirement to basically, hold on, everybody's licking Putin's boots. I need to get my crazy ass out there to do it too.
Well, you know what? Putin, so the Russian Orthodox Church is not only anti-Semitic, but is deeply heteronormative. It is everything that the evangelicals want.
I know. That's why I said evangelicals.
And there are Russian branches spreading over here, but they're not being called Russian Orthodox. I can't remember what they're being called.
That's why you got to be very careful when you see a lot of religious people.
Orthodox and Dixie?
I actually know the leader there is Kirill. It's Kirill in Russia.
Have you guys seen those commercials late at night?
That's the head Christian guy over there. Right?
Older,
but I mean,
Russians. Have you guys ever seen these commercials? They're late at night, and it's always they're asking for money for these old Russian people because they're living in little huts and they need money, and they either fix their food outside or inside, but they're in a little hut. And they're asking for money from Americans.
But did you know that there's commercials about Americans like that in China?
No.
Yeah, because from my Chinese friends, I found, so you know how when we're growing up, they're like, kids in China are starving, we'll send it to them. Parents in China say that to their kids. Kids in America are starving, we can send it to them. And it's not wrong. There are kids in America who are starving.
Yeah, there are.
Isn't it ironic?
Don't you think?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, keep an eye out for like when you see a lot of political figures that are maybe deeply evangelical Christian, and they're trying to kind of, as they're doing that whole like dancing around, like, hold on, I mean, yeah, Putin invaded that, but do we really have to? Maybe it's not that bad. They're dancing around that because they want this, because they think this will bring them closer to, massaging the bunions of white Jesus one day.
Yeah, well, they want to cause the apocalypse. But I did have a question
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
So were they actually people in Russia? Is that what it was for? Are they
It
trying to
was
say?
actually- yeah, and it
So-
was this like senior citizens.
Yeah.
Those were in their 70s and
I mean,
80s
it looks
and
just
stuff. It's
exactly the
like-
same here.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. That's interesting, though. I did not know that, but it's
Yeah,
really
I'm
kind of
sh-
sad.
It's
Just, I
really
mean,
sad.
It's like the ones with the dogs, that are living mouth to mouth wherever. And
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, and now they're starving, but some of them have been so, can I say propagandized? I'm going to say it. That they're just going to support Putin blindly, just like they do Trump, who is going to run them both to death. They will be used as pawns until they're not needed anymore and discarded. He doesn't care if they're starving.
Probably they're thinking, what if it turns out worse? We know what we're getting with Putin.
Yeah.
That if we should get somebody else, how do we know it's not going to be worse?
Right. But like,
You know,
how does it get worse,
I'm
y'all?
willing to throw the dice.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fear mongering is amazing. And like, I can remember back in the 90s, like Putin was praising Americans on their ability to market and get their people to follow whatever it is their government was saying, and studied very much. Like, the only thing that America is elite in is our ability to market and spread propaganda to get the people to do what we want. And I mean, we're just continuing. I mean, like, that's going to continue to be a sustained effort to get us to join the war in Ukraine.
And then Putin took notes.
Yeah.
He does the
Yeah.
same
And
thing.
then he got close to people and
Yeah.
he started influencing, and like their biggest war machine is online. It is in the
Mhm.
on the web.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well,
Because remember,
Because propaganda is their biggest weapon.
It sounds like Putin sounds like every other idiot you see on Fox News, doesn't he? Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
recently, even like
well,
they're trying to cancel Russia like they did J.K. Rowling. I'm like, I don't remember her invading another
Oh yeah,
country.
she responded
Yes.
to that. Did you hear? She responded.
Yeah, I did, but I'm like, I don't remember her invading another country and dropping
No.
bombs on it. I'm like, when did that happen? Let me look that up.
Fox News has no room to talk when they're using Hunter Carlson.
Comrade Carlson, call
Yeah.
it correctly.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson's.
Comrade Carlson.
Carlson's
No, because comrades for
Words.
communists.
on their TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're showing clips. This is how Americans feel about Russia, and then they show Tucker Carlson.
Someone tried to stick up for Tucker Carlson online with me by saying flat out, yeah, well, Tucker Carlson's ratings are through the roof. I'm like, are those the ones in America, or did they add in the Russian ratings as
Mhm.
well? Because I'm pretty sure he's through the roof there over there.
And ratings doesn't make you honest. Ratings
No, but
means sensational.
I did point out the fact that he's pretty popular in Russia too.
Yeah, well, he's being pushed by Putin in Russia. He's encouraging all the local stations to share his sound bites.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
Yeah, that's the person you need to
I mean,
investigate. I want to know
yeah.
what is
Tucker Carlson got turned into a villain the moment that Jon Stewart went on his show and said, "Look at you in your little clown bow tie, making a mockery of democracy. And like, how can you even take yourself seriously?" And then he left CNN and became a Fox News villain and has been on this trajectory ever since. And then once Trump got in office, he's been riding that high. And he's like, fine, if we're going Russian, we're going Russian, whatever. I guess I'll do this all the way because Americans didn't like me the way I was. That was his origin
Most of them
story.
don't like him the way he is now.
No,
Yeah.
Like they talk about the ratings, but I'm like, have you looked at all the ratings of Fox News? Because if you look at that number and you look at it as a percentage of America, it's not even 1%. So you're not, please.
I feel like I really need to work on my Tucker Carlson impersonation, which is mostly just facial expressions. Like,
That one, that's the one.
Yeah.
I'm just asking questions.
Yeah. So Trump did not score a hole in one, did he?
In what way?
Well, I mean, business-wise, no. Marriage, no. Kids, no. Okay, so no. Across the board.
Money? No.
He was at Mar-a-Lago with a bunch of professional golfers, and somebody posted about him hitting a hole in one, and they have a picture of him pulling out the ball from the cup. No other pictures of it. Somebody said, "Oh, look, there's two balls over there. Yeah, they must be playing. And then they show video of one of the players with a ball in his pocket, taking it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Classic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always like just like, you know, the videos they found of cops who are like reaching in their pocket to drop drugs and be like, oh, look at the drugs I found. Like, we just got it on video.
I'm just surprised Fox News hasn't come out and said, and did you know that Trump doesn't pee or poop?
Yeah.
Well, he has his Depends. He doesn't really need that.
No,
Their
that's
leader
true.
does not pee or
So
poop.
I was thinking about it. I think what's going on with Putin is he has syphilis. And I came to this conclusion because during the Civil War, the great uniter, Hideyoshi, who united Japan, decided they were going to, since we're all united now, we're going to invade Korea. And everyone was against it. It was a battle that couldn't really be won. It was terrible conditions going overseas and everything. And he sent them to slaughter. And any person who gave him bad news would be beheaded. And he started going mad from syphilis. I mean, the guy was originally a really great uniter. So Putin didn't have that going for him. But he does have the like dumb brain to continue to send people to slaughter, not realizing it or not believing it, and then just convincing themselves that they are winning. And hopefully he'll just die suddenly like Hideyoshi did.
Funny you should mention syphilis.
Or somebody will take him out, because remember, he also fired his entire over 1,000 people.
Just like
and replaced
Hideyoshi.
him
Yeah.
because he's uber paranoid.
Yeah.
Paranoid.
That's
Because he
that,
knows he's not well liked. And like
it's a Julius
that's a-
Caesar.
that's a
the
clue. That's a
Hideyoshi.
clue. If you're scared of the people around you, then maybe you should be a better
Darren's
person.
got something good.
Yeah, speaking of syphilis, Chelsea Handler said the same thing about Trump.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump
Yeah.
has syphilis.
And
Along with other things.
this was months ago, long time ago, and she has not been sued by Trump.
Well, you know, Al Capone was a syphilitic moron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be called Scarface. He wanted to be called Schnuffy or something like that.
Oh.
There was a really great drunk history on him like 6 years ago.
There's
7 years
also a
ago.
movie on him about him afterwards when he was losing his mind. I haven't seen
And
it
he's
yet.
like fishing in his own backyard pool.
I actually do want to watch it. I have it on HBO
would.
Max.
That sounds
I actually
good.
don't. I will watch it tonight.
I did the Chicago tour
But yeah,
here. It's pretty cool.
Basically, Chelsea Handler says, look at everything he is doing.
Both of them.
And, yeah, both of them. And tell me they do not. Tell me that Trump does not have syphilis. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his doctor certainly not going to be like, "Hey, bro, you got syphilis? Let's test you."
Yeah,
He's like,
the
"What,
Oh,
man?
the
You feel
same doctor.
good?"
the same doctor who said he's the most fit president I've ever seen.
I've never seen
Yeah, there's no way that guy's
Ever,
catching
ever
syphilis.
had.
He's 6'10".
220, solid
I'm
muscle.
like, yeah, round is a shape. I guess you're right. I mean, the most in shape, literally the most
in
in
shape.
shape, most.
Yes, I know.
Gee,
That
I
was
wonder if you're laying
disgusting.
that on thick.
when that came out about him being the most in shape president,
Oh, yeah,
everybody
please.
immediately started posting shirtless pictures of Obama.
Yeah.
That makes me think of like, you know how they show these clips of Putin working out, and like all these like major fitness guys are like, "Look at that terrible form." That's how you know you're a cruddy leader, when
Yeah.
nobody will even tell you like, "Bro, your form's bad. Like, you're not gonna build up like that. That's why you still look like this. You're doing it wrong." Like,
Well, that's about it for the show. Anything going on, Katie?
I will be in Minnesota.
Don't you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure. You know.
Oh, yeah, sure.
the place of my people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where-
Swedish.
Yeah.
Swedish people.
So that I'll probably be there for a week or so
Okay.
in April, but I'll let you know.
Okay.
I don't know the exact date.
And Mr. Hawks.
I'll just be back here.
Morbius,
Oh, no, we're also seeing more Morbius.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We're gonna be seeing that. And Miss Bloomstrom.
Yeah.
Yes, Bloomstrom.
So on April 30th, the Quarantine Queens Theater Company, my theater company that I founded and am artistic director, we will be doing The Unkindest Cut, which is a just-in-time noir comedic mystery. He's a literary detective. It's pretty funny. And that's coming out. I am also working on getting my own radio show here at K4 Radio as well. So listen to that. I mean, obviously, friends here will commingle. Hopefully they want to.
It'll be a cutthroat, violent affair. Who's gonna be the best radio show?
Yeah, no, I don't think we'd be competitive because
Yeah,
we're all
there's
doing different
no-
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally
well,
different animals.
Right.
yeah, and so, we do nothing like bottoms of the barrels. So
Two hosts enter, one host leaves.
which one will flinch first?
Yeah, if you get a chance to watch that show, it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So-
that's it for the show, everybody. Thanks for everybody stopping